If you like these videos, please check out my full course at www.lsat.totaltestprep.net with tons of clearly explained actual LSAT questions written by someone who's mastered test and helped others master it, and an evaluation period where you only pay if you want to continue.
Alright, so in this video we're going to cover what consequence is. What is consequence? So, what is the nature of consequence? What are we looking for when we're looking for consequence? And how does it appear on the test? Okay, so in terms of the basic information, what are we looking for when we are looking for consequence? Consequence means the truth or falsity as a logical consequence of information in the paragraph. So the truth or falsity of something as a logical consequence, is a logical implication. The choice that has to be true is one where there's no scenario you can come up with where the choice is not true and have all the other information in the paragraph be true. So have it stay consistent with everything else. That's what it means when something, in terms of the truth being a consequence of information, it has to be true in the sense that if it's not, there's going to be contradiction or conflict with what you're given in the argument. And the choice that has to be false is one where there's no scenario you can come up with where that choice is true and the information in the paragraph is also true. So once again, if you're being asked for something that has to be false, to say that the falsity of something is a logical consequence of information means that there's no way that that thing could be true without there being a contradiction with the argument or the information in the argument that you're given. So that's what truth and falsity is. It just means that there's no place, if something's true, there's no way you can falsify it. If something's false, there's no way you can make it true without making the rest of it, without creating some sort of problem. Now, depending on the question type, the correct answer choice is going to have to be true or have to be false or some sort of combination of both. We'll see that in a particular question type. So you cannot you cannot assume the truth or falsity of the answer choices because that's precisely what you're looking for. So remember the relevance ones, the ones we did, you assume the answer choices are true. And then you're trying to figure out if they're relevant, where relevance means it impacts the strength or weakness of an argument. The truth or falsity questions, the ones that deal with the consequence questions, the ones that deal with truth and falsity, you cannot assume that the answer choice is true or that the answer choice is false because that's what you're looking for. All right. So how does consequence appear on the test? Well, consequence is tested for in two broad categories: questions that ask for an answer choice that must be true, and questions that ask for an answer choice that must be false. The must be true questions require you to identify the answer choice whose truth is the logical or reasonable consequence of the information in the paragraph. And so those, you're going to have general must be true questions. And so these questions just ask for the answer choice that logically follows from the paragraph, and it can follow in a variety of ways. And they're generally not arguments, these questions. So generally it's just going to be a collection of information. And then there's the necessary assumption questions. So these questions ask for an assumption that has to be true in order for the conclusion in the argument to follow. So here you're given an argument and there will be an assumption that logically follows from that argument. So these are for the ones that must be true. The general must be true and the necessary assumption questions. Must be false questions require you to identify the choice which cannot be true as a consequence of the paragraph. So these are going to be must be false questions, and these questions ask for the answer choice which logically contradicts information in the paragraph. So there's really only one type of must be false, pure must be false questions. There's also a third question type which combines both must be true and must be false aspects, and these are the disagreement questions. So these questions present two speakers, and the correct choice is going to have to be true for one speaker and have to be false for the other. Okay, so that's how it appears in the test. Now, in terms of a quick summary, consequence deals with information that must be true or must be false.